Alright, here we go with version 3.0, as I got a couple minor improvements. Here I added the 1/4-inch washers. This eliminated the lock washers from digging into the wood. I also extended the base here about 20 millimeters. And the reason for this was so that the bolt would not be blocking the tape measure when trying to get a measurement. As you can see, I added some design improvements. As I extended this one out 8 inches, I also made the height of this one 2 3/4 inches. Here we'll take a look at what I consider version 2.0, which is a little bit shorter. It's got a little more blockier of a look, but it also has that shorter base. You can see we got the version 3.0, but this one I made 9 inches rather than 8 inches. And as you can see, I also added the washers to the lock nuts here, as this is a much needed improvement. And here you can see how the shorter base compares to the longer base, as the bolt is a little bit in the way. This still works and you can get a good reading on the tape, but you can see over here with the extended base how the bolt sits out farther on the back, and it's a bit much easier to read the tape in my opinion. This is the one I'm going to go with. And here you can see I just used my carpenter's square and lined it up against the fence on my miter saw, and then dialed in the flip stop, and as you can see I got it pretty square. Now it's time to build a project and test out these flip stops. So be sure to subscribe so you can follow me, and I'll let you know how these things worked out, what worked and what didn't. Now I'm going to cover some of the details of the build. I designed all the pieces right here in Lightburn. Then I went ahead and saved each part in the art library located here in Lightburn. Then I can just drag and drop them in the future when I want to make another flip stop. And then I click start in Lightburn and the laser cut begins. The material I'm using here is a 5mm underlayment that I got at Home Depot. You can get a 4x8 sheet for like 28 bucks. As you can see, everything's complete. Now we'll just take them over to the workbench and laminate them. Here I'm just using Titebond glue and applying it with a silicone roller. Go check out part 1 if you want more details on the glue up. Here you can see I used a couple pin nails and then some F-clamps to clamp everything down. Here I just cleaned it up with a light sand on the belt sander. And then some more light sanding with my orbital sander using a 220. And then I went ahead and used some 220 sponge sanding blocks just to get some of that black off from the laser. So again, same process. I went ahead and made the fence for the flip stop in Lightburn and saved it to the art library. So all I need to do is drag and drop it. And then click start to start burning. As you can see, my Acmer 33 started up and started by engraving the Dewalt logo, but really I could put anything I want on there. I just have a Dewalt saw, so that's the reason for the Dewalt logo. And as you can see, it's starting to cut everything out here. So I'll just grab these as I got to cut out a third piece for the center and then start assembling this bad boy. Here I'll just go ahead and give a quick sand with my orbital sander using 220. Hit the faces of all 3 pieces. And the same process as before. I'll just use some Titebond glue. Just stick it on the each of the flip stops and use my silicone roller to apply the glue thoroughly on each side. And once I applied the glue to all the sides and put it together, then I'll use those tenons that I cut out. As you can see, I got 3 of them. Put a little bit of glue on them. These are like keyholes, and they'll line up all 3 layers perfectly. Next I'll apply some clamps and let it dry for about a half hour. Everything's looking good enough for me, so I'm just going to go ahead and put on some boiled linseed oil just to give a light seal to the wood. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this. So I got a 3.5 inch long carriage bolt. It's a 1/4 inch thick. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 inch washer and then go ahead and add a 1/4 inch lock nut. And then I'll go ahead and add the second 1/4 inch lock nut and a 1/4 inch washer. Now I'll go ahead and assemble the new base, which is 94 millimeters. Then I'll fasten the 1/4 inch panhead screw. All the fasteners are 1/4 inch with the number 20 pitch thread. And here we'll fasten the last lock nut and washer, 1/4 inch. And now I'm just going to drill out this hole in the center. It needs to be 1/4 inch. It's going to take a 1/4 inch carriage bolt. Here I got a 1/4 inch rail, and it's 3/4 inch tall. Here I'm just going to score a mark with my razor and then cut it. Here I need to cut a notch in the top of the high density plastic so the carriage bolt sits down. This will allow it to bite into the wood in the T-track. So I'm just using the little hacksaw to mark it, and then I'll go cut it. And I'll just go ahead with the little hacksaw to cut out the notch. It doesn't need to be perfect. So again, I'll just repeat the process and cut the notch out of the other side. Important part here is you want both the flat sides of the high density plastic to be pushing against the flat sides of the carriage bolt. And here we'll attach our 48 millimeter wood knob we created on the laser. I'll make a separate video showing how to make these custom knobs. It's really easy. And you can see as you tighten the wood knob that it pulls the head of the carriage bolt down below that notch. That's what we want. That's what's going to bite into the T-track. Here I'm just applying some CA glue from Harbor Freight, and this is what I'm going to be using to attach the high density plastic to the wood. And here again, you just want to make sure when you glue this up that the inside of the high density plastic edges are pushing right against the flat edges of the carriage bolt. This is important for the locking system to work correctly. Here I just went ahead with some of the activator to activate the CA glue. So the way this works is I cut a 1/4 inch T-track groove directly into the wing here, you know, from a router bit that I bought off Amazon. Here I'm trying to demonstrate when you tighten up the wood knob, as you can see the carriage bolt will dig into the T-track and lock itself really tight. And to loosen the flip stop, simply just you turn the wood knob and then push it down. You hear a little click, and the carriage bolt will have pushed out of the track, and then it slides freely. Here you can get the idea how easy it is to square up the flip stops. Basically, just get a carpenter's square, put it against the rail of your miter saw, and then go push it up against the flip stop. This is where you'll use the set screw and that second lock nut to adjust it to get it square. It's really easy. Here I just use my Allen key to get that set screw and get the flip stop pretty close. Then you adjust that second lock nut and loosen that other lock nut on the very back, and I'll either pull the flip stop in or push it out. I'll make another video because I need to add the washers to the 2 other flip stops, so I'll film it when I calibrate them. Here I'm going to use this piece of laminate because I know it's square on both edges, so I'm going to go ahead and push it up on my miter fence, and then go push it against my miter flip stop. You can see how square this thing is. It looks really good. Everything looks really square. And here's the other reason why I made these 2 3/4, because I'll be stacking similar boards on top of each other so I can cut them all at once. Well, I'm pretty happy how the version 3 turned out. I think they're going to work out great. But I also will go ahead and keep testing out the version 2. I also got the smaller version 1 here along with the 9-inch version 3, so I'll go ahead and be testing these and see how they work out. Until next time, have a good one, and be sure to subscribe so you can see all the new projects that I'm working on.